Today we're talking about satellites. First, let's start off with the really eye-catching one. A prototype satellite has become one of the brightest objects in the night sky, and it may soon be accompanied by dozens more. An observation campaign tracking the Blue Walker 3 satellite, launched in September 2022 by AST Space Mobile, found that it is, at times, brighter than all but a handful of stars and planets that can be seen from Earth. The findings published in the journal Nature highlights a fast escalating concern among astronomers who have warned that the influx of private space ventures in low Earth orbit could alter our view of the night sky and interfere with research. Researchers with the International Astronomical Union's Center for the Protection of the Dark and Quiet Sky from Satellite Constellation Interference, CPS, observed Blue Walker 3 over the course of 130 days. Blue Walker 3's antenna array measures just shy of 700 square feet, making it the largest yet for a commercial satellite in low Earth orbit. That huge array reflects sunlight, and after it unfurled, its brightness spiked. The effect isn't constant, but instead fluctuates depending on factors like the satellite's position relative to the sun and the viewing angle. The CPS team observed it from sites in Chile, the U.S., Mexico, New Zealand, the Netherlands, and Morocco. SpaceX, whose thousands of Starlink satellites have repeatedly come under scrutiny for their potential impact on the night sky, has experimented with dark coatings to cut down on the amount of reflected light to limited success. For astronomers, to whom it poses a growing headache, it's not enough. Stations observing from the ground will need to develop satellite avoidance strategies to work around these artificial constellations, the researchers note in the paper. And visibility isn't the only problem. Commercial satellites, including Blue Walker 3, flooding low Earth orbit, also threaten to interfere with radio astronomy. A separate study led by the CPS and published earlier this year found Starlink satellites are leaking unintended electromagnetic radiation that could disrupt radio telescope observations. Now for some not-so-bright ones that are dead and now worth a fine from the FCC. The FCC hit Dish Network with a $150,000 fine for failing to properly dispose of a defunct satellite after its mission ended. It's the first such penalty the agency has enforced as it attempts to crack down on the growing problem of space junk in low Earth orbit, LEO. Decommissioned satellites and other objects pose a collision risk for other instruments operating in these lower altitudes. In LEO, debris travels at thousands of miles per hour, meaning even a millimeter-sized scrap can pose a serious threat. While Dish and the FCC had an agreed-upon deorbit plan for the company's EchoStar 7 satellite, which launched in 2022 and was scheduled to be retired in May 2022, it started running out of fuel earlier than expected. Dish was supposed to maneuver the satellite into the designated graveyard orbit about 186 miles above where it had operated, but EchoStar 7 only made it about 76 miles up. The company realized in February 2022 that its propellant was too low to carry out the plan, and the satellite was abandoned there. The FCC is calling the penalty a breakthrough settlement after Dish admitted fault and agreed to pay a fine. At $150,000, the fine is merely a slap on the wrist, but it could serve as a warning as the number of commercial satellites in LEO continues to rise rapidly. There's already close to 10,000 tons of junk orbiting Earth as of last year, and as companies like SpaceX vie to pump thousands more satellites into space, it's only getting more cluttered by the day. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributor Cheyenne McDonald and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.